I'm Nick Weare with The Arts End. Each week I talk to artists, arts practitioners and people involved in the arts in the region and find out their inspirations, their background, what makes them tick and the music they like. My guest this week is Cigarbox guitar maker Bruce Traps. What is a Cigarbox guitar? Well, stick around and find out, but it sounds like this. That's the sound of a Cigarbox guitar. Bruce Traps lives near Exeter on the Tamar and makes these wonderful little instruments which are becoming very popular among players, especially blues and slide guitar players. But, as we'll also hear, they're being snapped up by non-players just for their decorative value. Bruce, you're what many people would describe as an artisan, aren't you?
Yeah, I do a few things. I don't know where it's come from. It's just born out of necessity, I think, to some degree.
Now, let's first of all, you make jewellery.
Oh, I have made jewellery. I donated a fair bit of my jewellery materials to a woman who got burnt out down at Dunalley. So
did you?
At the moment, I'm not really doing jewellery.
Right. Well, when you were doing jewellery, what sort of jewellery did you make?
Oh, I was doing fork jewellery, pendants, spoon rings.
So you recycle old materials that you find?
And horseshoe nails. Yeah, I'm quite impressed with horseshoe nails. I'd probably still fiddle around with that a bit. I like fiddling with things, I suppose you'd put it down there.
So you're probably well known around Tasmania now. You're getting better known for your Cigarbox guitars. You've got a bit of a reputation, I'll tell you. Let's talk about what a Cigarbox guitar is, first of all.
Well, basically, it's just a stick through a box, born out of necessity by the early Negro in America. As a result of the slave trade, the Negroes were taken to America to work in the cotton fields and obviously didn't have any money or anything, so they improvised and made their own instrument.
And the most basic instrument the Negroes in those days used was a wire on a wall, stuck on a nail to a wall, and they'd play that and use the wall as a sound box.
Yeah, I heard an interview the other week from someone in America who said Robert Johnson used to have a piece of wire nailed to the wall of his house, humpy, whatever it was, and
but they progressed into using what they could find, and that was like a cigar box with maybe a broom handle on it and a piece of wire on that to get the sound.
A lot of people say a piece of fly wire out of a screen door and things like that. Yeah, very, very basic instruments, but, make some brilliant songs out of it.
And I think probably one of the most famous that people would probably have seen would be Bo Diddley's guitar, which was a bit bigger.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
But it was the same. It was a square box with a handle on it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that was Was it a Gretsch?
Yeah, I think it was a Gretsch, but it has that shape. Now, so we're talking about it. Usually, it's shape of a square box with a neck on it that oftentimes was just handmade. Not always 6 strings. Sometimes two. Well, sometimes one, but.
The traditional cigar box guitar, as far as I know, is either a 3 or a 4 stringer. A lot of people do make them with 6 strings now.
Yeah.
A chap down in Hobart wanting me to build him a 6 stringer, and I was a bit reluctant to do it because I was a bit worried about building a 6 string neck. But anyway.
So how did you get into building a cigar box guitar?
Once again, born out of necessity. I ended up having a workplace accident. Wasn't able to really do the job that I was doing at the time, and I'm getting near retirement age. I mean, no one else really wants to employ someone with an injury, plus over 60, so that's what I started doing. But I've always had an interest. I always wanted to play a guitar.
Yeah, but you don't play. You say you don't play a guitar.
No, I can't play for nuts. Probably one of those frustrating things when you're young. You want to play a guitar and you want to do rock and roll like Chuck Berry or Elvis Presley or someone like that. And
my first guitar was built out of an old drawer out of a cupboard and a stick attached. So that's how. But I say I can't play either. But I mean, it just seems a long stretch to say I always want to play guitars to actually building a cigar box guitar.
Yeah, I suppose the progression was that I was someone who was just too impatient to learn properly, and then as I got a lot older, I thought, well, I've probably got a bit more time on my hands now than what I used to. I'll go and buy one. I'll buy a resonator. I really like the sound of a resonator.
Now, a resonator is an acoustic guitar that has a sort of metal plate on it that makes the sound loud.
Yeah, it gives them more of a banjo-y sound generally. So I bought one on eBay, and same old problem, still couldn't play it, but I love the sound of it. I can play a few chords, but there again I was doing open tunings, which I knew nothing about when I was a lot younger, and with open tunings, well, you know, you can go wrong, but you can't go too far wrong. So I bought that, and then I still couldn't play that, so I thought, 6 strings, it's no good, what else can I play? And it just happened across the Cigarbox guitars somewhere on the net, and I thought, well, 3 strings, open chords, got to be simple.
Or at least half as simple as playing a 6-string guitar.
half the problem a 6-string guitar's got. So I thought, I didn't really want to buy one, I wanted to make one. So it looked pretty simple, but then I thought, no, I don't know how the necks go into the boxes and what they do. So I bought one. I bought one from Melbourne. They came from Dakota in America originally, and when I got hold of that I thought, geez, there's nothing to this at all. So I ordered a few cigar boxes from America, and
just having to find those, how did you do that?
Basically get on eBay and look for cigar boxes, just type in cigar boxes, and in America it's quite a big business.
And you're actually just able to buy them and bring them to Australia?
I've got a chap who I deal with now over there, he's got 15,000 in a warehouse, just empty cigar boxes. So
it's a lot of cigars
deal over there.
But the other part is the neck. I mean, you had to build the necks.
Yeah, a lot of builders who build them out of just a bit of plank, really.
Yep.
But I don't know, me being me, I wanted to improve on that and put a bit more sort of finesse into it, and I just eventually came up with my own design after about 3 or 4 guitars. The first one I made was really elaborate. It had a tapered neck on it and all sorts of things, but it took that long to build. I thought, no point doing this.
Most of the other pieces are easy to find, I suppose, from suppliers like the headstocks or the nuts But on your guitars, I mean, you use screws as part of the bridge, and bolts and things.
Yeah, that's another idea that's come off the net from America. You go onto some of these cigar box guitar sites in America, and they've come up with some fantastic ways of doing bridges and nuts. So I just sort of progressed from there. You've
progressed actually to things like a steampunk guitar. We've got one sitting here. It's metal. It looks like a factory that's been bombed. And you've used things like spark plugs for the bridge and where the strings go in, and it's like a machine, isn't it?
Yeah, that got born out of a friend of mine who's a regular player around Launceston quite frequently now, although he lives down south. That's Philippe Castillo. I met him first at Forth Blues Festival year before last, and he had a homemade instrument made out of a frying pan. And I was pretty intrigued with that, and I emailed him and we talked about that, and he says, well, what do you do? And I said, well, I make cigar box guitars. So he said, well, bring some down to Forth and give us a look. So I took them down to Forth, and next minute he's got one. But a lot of his venues bikie clubs and things like that, they seem to like his style of playing, and it suits his character too. So I thought, no, you don't want a cigar box, you need something a little bit more over the top. And
you got it.
That's what came out of it. We call them a tram smash guitar.
That was Philippe Castillo playing Stomp on one of Bruce Trapp's Cigarbox guitars. Bruce Traps is my guest on the Arts End today. The sound from these guitars, it's not one of your gentle Spanish guitar sounds. You're looking at it's something that turned up full blast with distortion and playing blues as a slide guitar. That's what they're...
Well, basically, yeah. And not necessarily blues. It can be...
rock and roll or anything.
It can be anything, really. Yeah, I think when we were down at Cygnet Folk Festival last year, Philippe had a gig across the road at another place and we could hear him at the festival.
That's loud and clear. And you had a good response to them. You sold quite a few.
I've sold over 100.
Yeah.
I don't know where they've all gone, but yeah.
And interest from all over. I mean, you say Diesel got one and he rates it pretty highly.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed with that. I'm still a bit gobsmacked over Diesel wanting one or getting one. And I've yet to hear him play it, but I'm sure he will one day. And I'm told it's going to be played on one of his next albums.
So has anybody else recorded anything with your guitars? There's a few YouTube clips which we'll play some music from. You know, there's obviously people actually out there playing your guitars.
Well, with 100 sold, I suppose someone's got to be playing them somewhere besides Philippe. I mean, he's bought 4 of them, or he owns 4 of them.
Right.
We've done a deal with one way or another, but there's some fairly talented people out there playing them, but whether they actually play them in gigs or not...
Oh, they do. You also make amplifiers as well, out of cigar boxes.
Yeah, that was another thing that came out of America, and this chap who's got these 15,000 cigar boxes in America, he said, I'll send you over... I asked for a whole lot of punch boxes, so he said, I'll send you every punch box I've got. The only trouble is when I got the boxes, I found all these little tiny boxes, and I thought, what on earth am I going to do with them? They're too small for guitars.
Yeah.
And then I saw other people were making amps, so sent away to America again, got some little... they're fairly El Cheapo amp circuit boards.
Do you have to have the knowledge of electronics to actually put these things together yourself, or is that something you've learnt yourself? Or?
To make it worthwhile, you've got to do a certain amount of it yourself. But the circuit boards come complete, and they come with all the bits, and you just solder them together. But I suppose you've got to have soldering skills to some degree to be able to put it together, and a bit of a feel for how a cigar box amp should look like. And
so where do you go from? I mean, you're obviously experimenting with the tram smash guitar. That's a step up. I mean, where are you going with this? Do you know yet, or do you just want to play it by ear?
Well, basically, just playing it by ear. But I've got some more wild and wonderful ideas for tram smashes in the future. So I suppose I'm going to have Philippe ringing me up saying, I want that one, I want this one.
You had a bit of success at the 4th Blues Festival this year with them. You took them up there and showed them off.
We took them down there in the Launceston Blues Club, which I'm a member of, had them on display.
In fact, I think you gave one to the Launceston Blues Club.
Yeah, I've seemed to donate quite a few of them to various things. Save the Tassie Devil campaign, got one. Launceston Blues Clubs gets them every now and again for revenue raising. Oh, well, there's a few happy people out there playing them in the long run.
They're fantastic looking and sounding guitars. I'll declare an interest that the Weare Gallery does have them for sale here as well, and we've already sold one to a very happy customer. So there's a lot of interest in them, and I know from personal experience the interest in them, and they look fantastic, and they even look good on the wall. You don't have to actually play one. They're a great ornament, aren't they?
Yeah, well, actually the first Forth Valley Blues Festival I had them at on display, had a woman come along and looked at the display and she said, well, I'll have that one over there. Fine. So she bought that and off she went, and about 6 months later she emailed me and she said, well, I'm the woman who bought one of your guitars at the Forth Valley Blues Festival. I said, I remember who you are. And she said, well, I want another one. I said, oh, okay. She said, I don't play them. I know the feeling. But she said, I just want to put them on the wall. Yeah. And she said, in about another 6 months, I want another one again.
Yeah, well,
she's got 3 handy items on the wall. If any musicians come up to her place, they can certainly take them down and plug them in and play them.
Terrific. Well, they're a great decorator item, as well as being a terrific sounding instrument. We'll have a listen to some more of them. Thanks very much for coming in.
Oh, yeah.
My guest today was cigar box guitar maker Bruce Traps from Exeter. Again, I'll declare interest in that we have Bruce's guitars for sale at the Weare Gallery in Emu Bay Road, Deloraine, and you're most welcome to call in and have a test run. I'm Nick Weare, this is The Arts End on MVFM 96.9.